playing at a club on 36th and 3rd in Manhattan called the Sniffing Court Inn. And I got a phone call one night, and it was Cooper, and he said, "Hey man, you want to play bass tomorrow at a session?" I said, "Yeah." Who's it with? I mean, not. He said, "A guy named Bob Dylan." He said, "He's great. He's a great folk singer." I hadn't really heard him. I didn't know about him, and because I was on a little different. I was on the R&B circuit and playing Wilson Pickett gigs and all this other kind of stuff. Or Wilson Pickett music gigs,
Yeah.
and lots of stuff like that. And so that was it. I got the gig, and I went to the studio the next day. And Cooper was there. He introduced me to Albert Grossman, Dylan's manager. And then Dylan was listening to a take of Like a Rolling Stone, which they had done the other day or the other week. And it was great. It sounded great, and I look over there and I see him, and I guess this must be Dylan, skinny guy with boots and frizzy hair, the hippie Greenwich Village kind of folky looking guy, and small, skinny. And so we went. I was introduced, and then he said, "How you doing?" And then kind of went back to what he was doing, and I took that as a cue to go into the studio and plug in my bass, try and get grounded. What's going on. It's a new environment for me. I have been playing maybe a little demo session here or something, but this is my first professional opportunity. And so, yeah, I don't know, really, I was playing for dear life.
Yeah.
What I learned real quick was that if you don't get your shit somewhat together, when you're sitting here at the playback, and he goes, "Yeah, no, that was a great take for him and his performance. And if you got a great take on it, that was great, and if not, if you didn't get it together in time, you had to live with it, And I don't think there were that many moments, but, and, all the tunes, it was like that. It was energetic and all feeling. It had to feel right. For Dylan, it was all about the performance, which is right. He learned the right way from John Hammond, from Tom Wilson. So, and that was it.
Were you hearing the songs? Was he playing you the songs before you were recording the takes?
Yeah, we'd be in the studio. He would start running it down, and he either made a chord chart if he was smart, and just give yourself as much opportunity as possible. And I was just amazed how he worked. He had so much together. I think sometimes he was rewriting the lyrics as we did it, or he'd be writing the lyrics for the next song. But he had these down. He had gone through different players trying to get it to feel right. And from playing with Cooper knew that I have a good feel.
Yeah.
So if I'm in there, I'm going to feel. It might not be a perfect note or a perfect phrase, but it's going to feel right and it's going to work.
Absolutely.
And, and that's kind of the story. And great tunes.
It's one of the best records ever. I mean, it's visionary. It's for that time in his career and what he's doing. And we're going to talk about the Forest Lawn and the Hollywood Bowl and that reaction, right. how it initiated. But I'm curious, in the studio, was that Tom Wilson or Bob Johnson who produced that one?
Bob Johnson. Tom Wilson had done the album before.
That's right. And
great album. I don't know what happened. It was just too bad.
Yeah.
In my estimation. But,
and in terms of working in the studio, what kind of producer is Bob, or Bob Johnson, or is it Bob Dylan who's really directing these?
Well, a producer's main job is to develop the product, develop and deliver. the finished product. And Tom Wilson, I never worked with him, so I don't know, but I know of things I've heard. A mood guy, and he kept things going. But I have a feeling the difference between him and Bob Johnson rolled the tapes all the time. His philosophy is that you never know when you're going to get something.
Yeah.
And that's really good when you put them all together. It feels good, and but somehow usually it's some will go this way, some go that way. Bob Johnson, I always felt that he wished we were in Nashville that first day.
Yeah.
So he sort of had a Nashville prejudice for whatever reason, but Nashville players are the best. They're really good.
Oh yeah.
But they don't interpret. They're not as soulful as we are on the East Coast at that time.
Well, there was some amazing players on that '61 Revisited album. Charlie McCoy, I believe, was one of the Nashville cats.
He came in and sat in.
Yeah.
McCoy is great. Bloomfield.
Yeah. So I want to ask you about Bloomfield, because I'm presuming your first introduction to him. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me, because he obviously played a part in the furtherance of your story. So tell me what the first impressions are of him and his playing.
My first take with Michael was I'm in the studio talking to Cooper, and the door bursts open, and he comes running in, Telecaster on his shoulder, no case, penny loafers, electric hair, just a bundle of energy. And that was my first impulsive impression of him, and which stayed with me forever. Because when I saw it, I got really close and really far from him and to him.
Yeah.
And he had problems of being able to control his ups and downs. But he played amazing. He had this unique guitar style. And he always in front of the beat, always, on that front edge, and great ears and thoughts about what the music should be. So he would, I heard it was just great. It was, and it just energized wherever he came in. And he rushed a little bit, but the drummer, amazing.
And who was the drummer? Was it Sam Lay?
No, Bobby.
Greg.
Bobby Gregg, fabulous drummer. Time.
Yeah.
And he helped me. As we were going through the things, he'd give me bass drum figures. We developed this little language, and he was just amazing.
Yeah.
And that's what held all those things together. Because Bloomfield's going this way, I'm a little that way. And we had Paul, piano player. Just so all these ingredients were happening. It gelled. So many different kinds of backgrounds for the players.
Yeah.
And it just blended really well.
How many days of sessions were you playing on?
I did 3, I believe.
Yeah. Is there any particular moment of any of the songs that you recorded where you have a vivid recollection of that session, of that track or that take?
Mr. Jones.
Yeah. Yeah, if you could share that recollection, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Now we came into the studio having no idea. I think we started off doing Positively 4th Street at night. After that, because that was the only thing we did, was a single. So after that, we started playing. Bob was playing keyboard and piano on it, and and we just all started kind of float with it. What was really impressionable was the lyric. The lyric. I mean, it was a spooky, Halloweenish type track. And I only wish that for one time you could be inside my shoes. You know what a dragon is to see you and hear you. It's just amazing. But again, the section just really blended. There was a lot of space. That was kind of the first. That was also related to the Forest Hill Stadium. That song had the biggest impression on me when we went to, because the audience gave him such a hassle about the band, playing, and he brought it around one time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, not letting the band, the audience get in the way of the mood.